Hey everyone, it's your girl, Maddie here, aka Beaver Mush, and today I'm talking to you about In Memoriam from the Sweden-based band Evermore. And this one is a Scarlet Records release. Evermore plays a particularly triumphant and rousing power metal. It's a power metal with a lot of euphoria attached to it. Yes, but there's also a considerable amount of muscle backing it as well. The guitar work here mixes in a lot of pure speed and fury with these uplifting melodic licks and soaring leads as well in equal measure. The choruses, which are such an important part of power metal, here are so grand and large and just sung so damn well. And the songs, all of them are memorable to me. They stand out and they have this replay value. And this feels like a power metal album. It's one with a regal felt beginning, middle, and conclusion. And there's no filler. It's only a 41-minute runtime. It's perfectly paced. Yes, there's a perfect arc there. The album starts with this certain cinematic and symphonic leaning intro with these staccato choral vocals and these plucked strings. It feels like it's building anticipation to something bigger. And after we get this introduction, we get Forevermore, which begins with these ripping, crisp, crunchy guitars that just sound so good. They're very well produced, and they're paired with the drums from Andreas Wiklund that gallop with so much punch. And then we get Johan Haraldsson's vocals that just soar, but they're not oversung either. They are delivered with a ton of conviction and earnestness. And then the chorus here is so empowering, but definitely very kick-ass. It comes through with so much soul backed into, but also attached is this rough bite as well. The guitar work from Johan Karlsson sits between melody and these more cutting, fast, almost thrashy riffs. And then the solo here, it's so lyrical yet really fucking fast and technical. And with all of that, there's an emotional richness injected into the lead. On Nightfire, the riffs take on much more of a deep, groove-oriented approach. The guitars feel so thick and forceful, and the vocals have much more of a rough rasp to it here, while interchanging the more epic and operatic vocal delivery when it suits as well. For people who think that power metal makes metal less heavy somehow, well, these riffs and these vocals don't really give any evidence to back up that claim. I love some of the harmonies as well that are thrown into the chorus. Makes it feel large and grand and momentous. And I'm going to talk about the solo again, because here it just screams. There's a nastiness to it, but also makes room for that euphoric and uplifting quality that is so present on this album. I Am the Flame begins with these rapid, spiraling guitars. Just what the hell? It's so complex and intricate and just thoroughly impressive, especially when they're paired with the furious, full speed ahead drum patterns. It's quite the intro. And then some of the highs that Haraldsson hits here. It gives me goosebumps, especially with the amount of feeling boosting them up. On the chorus here, some phrases will have a bit of a choral backing it up to give it this really epic quality, while also some phrases will be sung solo for some more intimate emotion switching off. And I just adore how they pull that off. On this cut, there are some more open soundscapes as well that just let the vocals run free. It gives it a victorious atmosphere. It's insane. It's corny as all fuck, and I don't care. Yes. Empire Within begins with these very ornate, almost gothic organ sounds, especially paired with these galloping chugs. These riffs really hit. This track is a bit darker and heavier while switching it up for the more arresting chorus, which this album has a lot of. There are these slower pre-chorus bits where a lot of the elements cut out and the vocals are delivered in a very skeletal manner with these interesting synth pings going on. Definitely brings you down a couple levels before throwing the massive hook at you. I'm going to praise the soloing again. There is a technical exhibition. They're not denying the need to just shred at some point, but there are also points where it will be more of a tuneful and melodic passage as well, and then switch up the approaches. I like how it's diversified in that way. The solos feel like they are plotted like a scripted adventure. I love these fluttering guitars just kind of fly around over the very steady drum pattern on Broken Free. And then the vocals here have a bit more of a menace and a sinisterness attached to them, kind of more of this punkish attitude on the opening verses. But that's before breaking everything down into the cleanest section on the record. Some sweeping synths, some acoustic plucked guitar, even some strings. It's that unusual songwriting technique where the heavier parts are the verses and then it gets broken down into a quieter chorus. It's pretty cool. The title track, once again, we get this over the top intro with these stabbing synths and crunchy, aggressively strummed guitars. And also the guitar does this very nasty, murky groove. It's unexpected. It's almost as if the guitar forgot that it's playing on a power metal album for a second. And then the hook, oh my god, chills, delivers the lyric, "I am eternal now," with so much raw emotion and passion behind it. And in the middle of each line, kind of delayed, it's joined by these wonderfully moving and powerful chorals. It's just so well timed and arranged and believable. And then the keys here are used really well, subtly but effective. Just adds a lot of layering and dynamics to the mix. This whole thing feels like we are defeating the final boss on our most epic quest yet. In the middle of this title track, there is this acoustic pluck bit that feels very Blind Guardian-esque. I love the kind of multi-part, chapter-based approach to the song. At 7 minutes long, it feels like a proper centerpiece to the album. Harvest Rex. This track is on fire. There's just so much fury. It has that electric, get out of the way feel, especially with the riffing that wouldn't feel too out of place on, say, Painkiller, in my opinion. There's kind of a more proggy feel to this cut with some interesting guitar shifts and some off-kilter harmonies here, but it's also probably the most aggressive cut on the album as well, especially how Harrelson will inject these almost scream vocals at the end of these slicing riffs before delivering the emphatic "No king shall rule forever" line. The final track, The Queen of Woe, feels like it was written to be the concluding track in mind. The drums just roar in with so much muscle. The snare is really popping here. The melodic vocals here on this track hit so many highs, but also does this almost cascading thing. It's thrilling to try to follow along what the vocals are doing on this cut. And then the virtuosity of the guitar and how it spirals throughout, but it never overtakes the track. It's always doing just enough and being just enough in the recipe, in the mix, to be super effective. And I just love this build up at the end where the drums get louder and louder while the operatic vocals get more pronounced before everything jolts into one last big concluding chorus. I just want to raise my fist and sing along and not care, cause don't let anyone tell you that metal is cool. It's not for the cool kids. This is one of those albums that once it's over, I just can't help but want to start it over again. It's just so infectious. This is power metal with just so much power. The riffs are great. It injects the aggressiveness with superb melody. This isn't just flowery power metal. There's a real heaviness and a bite to it. The songwriting is just so enjoyable, especially with these just big choruses to latch onto. For fans of power metal, I don't know what else you can ask for vocally, solos. This album has it. It feels like an epic listening experience, as good power metal should. And hey, those are my thoughts. If you like this video, tell me, hit the like button. It'd mean the world to me if you'd consider subscribing. I have a Twitter you can follow. Link to that is in the bio of this YouTube channel. Leave a comment. I love engaging with those and interacting with the people who watch these. Keep it metal. My name is Maddie, aka Beavermosh, and I'm signing off.